Hi, my name is Calvin Pierce, and welcome to my Comp 3074 Assignment 1. In this video, I'll be taking you through the implementation of everything through Assignment 1. On screen currently, we have our main activity XML, and this is basically the layout for our application. Over down on the left, you can see the IDs of everything we have on screen, and I'll just explain all of those to you right now. We have multiple text views, one for the hours worked up here, one for the hourly rate, one for the total pay, the total tax, and these two special text views that both display 0 at the moment. So we have them displaying 0 because when the user loads up the app for the first time, they're not going to have any information inputted into it, and therefore the total pay of nothing is nothing. So the default ends up being 0. We have our edit text fields, which the user will put whatever they want for hours worked. Say they worked 80 hours, they can enter that. 40 hours, they can enter that. They can enter their hourly rate, how much they make an hour. And then we got our calculate button, which once pressed will update these zeros based on the values the user inputs up ahead. And then we have another key layout feature, which is our menu bar. As you can see up top, it has our assignment name, assignment 1, and this fancy little icon which I have pre-clicked for you, which is just to take you to my about page. And when you click on that, we'll load it up here. We'll load up our about activity XML. Nothing too fancy. It'll just show you my name, Calvin Pierce, and my student ID. You can see the about activity. Nothing fancy, just the on create that gets created with it. And now I will take you to the main activity where all the magic in this assignment happens. So we got our edit text declared, which is for our user input, and we got a couple of text views declared, which is for the outputs. If you remember the zeros, as I showed over here, those are the outputs that we'll be updating via these variables. So we'll go through our onCreate function, and we can see we have the two labels, and we're getting the ID that we declared it there. You can see the pay is this one right here. We can just click on it. You can see the ID up in the top right, as I already showed you in the bottom left as well. You can see all the IDs down there. So we're getting that text view by the ID, and we're setting it to that pay variable right there. Same thing with the tax variable. With the edit hours and the edit rate variable, we are just basically doing the same thing. We're just getting these by the ID, and they are just our edit text fields. Then we add an on-click event to our calculate button, which we also grab by the ID. And basically what that does is it takes the hours in a double form from our edit hours text field. So we parse the input from string to double so that we can read it for our calculations. Same thing with the rate. And then we go into the fun math bit. So basically what our assignment says is if the input by the user for hours is less than or equal to 40, it'll just update your pay and display as normal, with the pay being the hours you work times the rate. Otherwise, if you work more than 40 hours, it'll calculate for overtime set by this line right here. It basically calculates all the extra hours above 40 times time and a half, so 1.5 times your pay rate, and then on top of your normal rate for up to the 40 hours. And then after that if function, we have our tax, because as much as we hate it, everything has to get taxed, so we calculate our tax afterwards. And then we just update our pay variable, taking that tax amount out of the pay. Lastly, we set our output labels to those variables on what we got up here. So we get our pay calculation and we set it into this format, which limits it and rounds it to 2 decimal places, because obviously in money you can't have more than 2 decimal places. You'll never go get a total for more than 2 decimal places. It'll always end with 2 decimals. And then down below, after all that fun math part, this is just our menu implementation. So this one right here just creates the menu, and then this item selected basically is just You click on the About button, and this is what loads up our About activity. One final thing I can show you is when our About activity is loaded up, I'll take you to our Android manifest. Once you click on it, we have programmed functionality to have a back button. So once you click on that, this line right here takes you back to the parent activity, which is our main activity. And once you click on it, it'll bring you right back to the main screen of the app. And now that I've bored you with all the functionality, I can show you how it actually works. I have it preloaded up for our convenience. As you can see, the defaults are still at 0. I have not touched anything. I'll show you the About menu. We click that little fancy eye, just wait for it to load. As you can see, my name, Calvin Pierce, my student ID. We'll hit that back button as function right here. And we'll say we worked 40 hours at $1, just for ease of calculation. We can see our total pay is $32.80 and our tax is $7.20. So the total pay is the pay after tax. This is what you will be taking home per paycheck. Not to be confused, I don't want to show you the pre-tax income and get your hopes up. And now that you've seen it for a normal non-overtime pay, I'll show you something a little more for, let's say, 80 hours. We'll calculate that again. And you can see our total pay is now $82. Because with the extra overtime and the time and a half, with the 40 hours overtime, we end up making 40 times 1.5 of 40, which is an extra 20. We end up making an extra $60. So our net pay would be $100. Take away the $18 tax, and you are left with the $82 total pay. That is everything for Comp 3074 Assignment 1. I hope you enjoyed the video.